You're watching Soulful Discussions.
All right, so hi, how you doing today?
Good.
All right.
You?
I'm doing great. How did we meet today, you and I?
Oh, just walking by, going to the mall.
Going to the mall. I approached you about an interview. Do you remember what the topics are that we're going to cover?
Yeah, you said mental health.
And
I didn't hear the first
reflexology.
one. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this. When you hear the word feet, what do you think about first? What goes to your mind?
Feet.
Feet? Do you think
Comfort. Yeah.
pedicures? You think about shoes? You think about
shoes.
shoes? Okay. Are you a shoe fanatic?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So today we're gonna ask you some questions. It'll be your thoughts about how you feel about the subject of feet. You just feel free to answer however you like, okay? What about mental health? Is there anything you think about when you hear mental health?
It's very important.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool. We're gonna talk a little bit today about like how to deal with like stressful situations, anxiety. How do you kind of deal with those things? Just feel free to answer however you like, okay?
Okay.
And then lastly, reflexology. You familiar with that?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna give some information today, and then you can just tell me, is that something you agree with? Do you think it's beneficial? What are your thoughts about it? Okay. Cool. Let's start with the first question. How do you think we can improve mental health awareness throughout the world? What is something we could do?
We just gotta listen to people.
Okay.
Yeah, like as much as possible, if we can avoid giving advices.
Yeah.
Because it's always better to just listen. People
Yeah.
will always just like they feel more comfortable if they're listening. Like someone's listening to them.
So letting somebody vent and being able to like
just
let
them
out.
vent, yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. I like that. And I want you to fill in the blank on this next question. The world would be better if
everyone is just caring.
Okay.
But not judgmental.
Not judgmental.
Yeah.
That's a very big important one. I think I love the fact that you
Yeah.
mentioned that. If a friend or loved one was struggling with depression or anxiety, what is something that you would like give them advice about? Like, what would you say to them?
I tell them to whatever they feel, just let it out.
Okay.
Don't bottle it in one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it gets harder if they just bottle it.
Yeah.
So whatever they feel, if they want to cry, they're mad, just let it all out.
Yeah, I just told my my stepdad today. He found out that his auntie, like one of his favorite aunties, she passed away, and that was kind of what I said to him. I was like, look, whatever it is you're feeling, just allow yourself to feel that, because like kind of to your point, the more you kind of suppress it and try to ignore it, eventually it's going to come out. You know, it's like trying to fill up a bottle, you know, with more than it can hold. Eventually it's going to come out.
Yeah.
So definitely is great. That's great to hear that. What are some things that bring you anxiety? You don't have to go too in depth with this, but like, what are some things that bring you anxiety? And when you feel anxiety happening, what do you do to like counteract the emotion?
I try to focus on my breathing.
Your breathing, very
and
important.
then I stay like I know it's hard for some people to be alone, but
Yeah.
I'd rather be alone if I'm experiencing anxiety.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I can control myself.
You can calm
more.
yourself down.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I just heard another girl just told me that I just interviewed her, and she said, yeah, she likes to have that alone time. If I'm feeling like that, just have that alone time to kind of like deal with it and then kind of go
Yeah.
from there. That's really great. That's really great. If you could change one thing about yourself, right? And it doesn't have to be something physical, but just in general, what is something you would change?
I want to say like not be careless, but
Okay.
maybe like don't think about how people think about me more. Like I feel
Oh,
like,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like
yeah.
like
A lot of people, and that's a very good one that you said, because a lot of times, like, I'll go and do these interviews, right? And people are completely like comfortable, and we have a good time, and we talk about, and then sometimes they can go home and they tell their family like, oh, I had an interview about this, and then they'll come back to me like, hey, can you delete the interview? Because now they're worried about what somebody else is thinking, as opposed to like, just focus on what you feel.
Yeah.
Like it's important how you feel about it. That's what I think. Absolutely. That's really dope. That's really dope. In terms of this question right here, fill in the blank. When I think about my feet, I feel. She's like, let me think about that for a second. How do I feel?
Yeah. I feel like it's a very big part of me.
Big part of you.
I always think if my feet is uncomfortable, everything is uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the foundation, right?
Yeah, it
Absolutely.
is.
In terms of that, aesthetically, do you think about your feet like in a positive way? Do you think they're nice? What are your thoughts there?
I'm half.
So you're in between. You're like neutral.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they could be better. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay. Let me ask you this. Have you ever received compliments about your feet? Has anybody ever said to you, hey, I think your feet are really nice?
No.
That's never happened. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say it did. Let's say you were wearing sandals. Somebody said, hey, I think you have really nice feet. What would your reaction or your thought process be when somebody says that to you?
No, I would feel very happy.
You would feel happy about
Yeah.
it. Okay, that's
'Cause,
dope.
Not a lot of people are
Yeah,
like the first thing that you'll notice is feet.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's always something.
Your eyes, your hair,
Yeah.
your smile, something
Yeah.
like that. Absolutely. Let's ask this question. How would you feel if a man gave you a compliment about your feet? If he said to you, you were wearing sandals, hey, you have nice feet. How would you feel about that?
It depends.
Okay, we're saying, okay, this is saying the context, he's just saying that. Hey, I think your feet are really nice, and he keeps walking. He's not stopping or
Okay.
anything. You would think that's cool?
I would feel very honored.
Okay.
Special because like guys don't really.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they would focus on something
Other
else.
things, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How would you feel if a woman gave you that same compliment?
I would feel very happy.
Okay.
Because I'm not generalizing people like
Yeah, yeah,
women,
yeah.
but a lot of women are just snobbish.
Yeah, yeah,
So they
absolutely.
would just walk. Yeah.
I've heard that a couple times, so
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, so it's kind of like getting a compliment from somebody about that. It almost makes you feel like, oh man, that's really dope. She complimented me on
Yeah.
something. And it's interesting because we were sitting out in the front and the girl I was interviewing, some girls drove by in the car and they were just like, you're so beautiful. Just like, and she like started blushing and she was so happy about it. So I like kind of what you said, you get a compliment, it makes you feel good about that. In terms of things you get complimented about, right? What is something you prefer to receive a compliment about, or like when you get a compliment about that, it makes you like makes your day, it makes you happy?
Well, now that we're wearing masks,
Yeah.
I used to like hear people saying, "Oh, I like your smile, I love
Ah.
how you smile." So I feel like that would be like very.
It makes you feel good.
Yeah, it makes me
Absolutely.
feel happy because like, oh, they're noticing your smile.
Nice,
Like,
nice.
Yeah.
That's really dope. That's really dope. In terms of qualities that you look for in a partner, what is something that you're like in a partner? I need to have that needs to be there.
A positive
Positive, yeah,
thinker.
yeah.
Optimistic.
Absolutely. Yeah, you don't want to be with somebody negative Ned
Yeah.
over here. Absolutely. How often do you get pedicures?
I don't really do pedicures.
You don't do pedicures?
I do it myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it a cost thing? Is it time? What?
Both.
Both. So a little bit of
plus
both.
If I can do it, why not just do it myself?
Okay. Absolutely. So are you saying you've never had a pedicure, or
I
you just
did,
don't go
yeah.
often?
I just don't go often.
Okay.
Maybe like once a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So once a month. And is it like more like special occasions, things that you're like, I'm gonna go somewhere, so I'm gonna go get a pedicure?
No, it's like just when my mom wants to go.
Oh, okay.
I
So
would
it's
go
like,
with her.
mom wants to go, let's do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this: in terms of when you do go get pedicures, do you have a favorite color or something you like to get?
No favorite color, but I always want something like not bright, but like
Okay.
a color that would pop out on your feet.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That makes sense. Have you ever heard of a medical pedicure before?
No.
Okay. So medical pedicure is going to see a podiatrist, specialist of the foot.
Oh, okay.
What they do is they look at your feet to make sure your toenails grow correctly. They check your toe alignment to make sure your toe alignment is good. They check your feet for like dead skin, fungus. They do all the work there with like medical grade equipment. So it's like the cleanest possible like type of pedicure you could get. What would your thoughts be on seeing somebody like that who could give you like more insight to your feet? Like say, hey, this is what's happening with your feet, or that's happening. How would you feel about that?
I would go.
Absolutely. You take
Yeah.
your mom with you, right? Come on,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah, if
Absolutely.
I would be paying pedicure, like it's not a joke for me paying for a pedicure.
Yeah.
It's like $60 a pop.
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So why would I go to a pedicure if I could also do a medical?
Exactly.
Like, more professional?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can actually find, somebody's told me before that you can go on Groupon sometimes and find deals that they have for like that. So maybe that might be something you can look for you and your mom. In terms of shoes, how often do you wear like open toe shoes, sandals, flip flops, things like that?
I do open shoes when it's summer.
Summertime.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's more.
You're like, yeah, it's a little
Yeah.
warmer. You want to keep
Yeah.
let your feet breathe and things like that. Absolutely.
Sorry,
Absolutely.
is it okay if I just answer?
Oh, sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry.
All right. No worries. No worries. How often do you go barefoot? No shoes.
Not too often, but when I'm in my house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you tend to like do it a little bit more. Let me ask you this: have you ever heard of earthing and grounding before? Does that sound familiar to you? It's like going barefoot in grass, dirt, sand. You've seen videos of that?
Videos,
Yeah, absolutely. So it's something very beneficial. So like it could be something, let's say for example, you had a long day at work, right? You're like, man, it was like really busy. I'm, mentally I'm tired. You could go outside to your front yard, stand in your grass, right? And just like focus on what you're feeling in the moment. So like, oh, I feel a cool breeze coming through. The grass feels nice on my feet. Different things that you don't worry about anything that happened at work, nothing like what's going to happen in a few minutes, just focusing on that. it's actually supposed to like give you like the feeling of freedom. What are your thoughts about like doing that, like to like help unclog mental space or whatever like that?
If I know the space is
Yeah, if I know it's clean.
it's clean, I would do it. If
Okay.
it's in like my backyard or like, around my house, I would do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all free for it.
That might be something you can try, man, incorporating, like, because from what I've heard, like, it's almost like when you were a kid, right? A lot of times you could go outside and run around. You don't worry about shoes, and then you're just, like, playing and you're having fun. Doing that as an adult can give you that same feeling again, like make you feel more free and easy. So maybe something to try.
I know.
Absolutely. Okay, all right. Now, so in this moment right now, can we see what your feet look like?
No.
Okay, so why not?
I feel like it's not.
Okay,
It's
what do you mean?
not-
Are you like self-conscious? Like,
Yeah.
is that okay? Let me talk to you kind of about the mental health of what got me started with my channel, and then we'll like I want to swing back around and see what you think. Okay. During quarantine, right? I got furloughed from my job, so what I did was I started watching YouTube, different YouTube videos and stuff, and I came across this one channel where a guy was talking about exposure therapy. Right? Have you heard of that before? You familiar? So exposure therapy is like, for example, let's say in certain scenarios or situations you feel uncomfortable. You're like, man, I don't know if I want to do that because I feel uncomfortable with it, right? Let's say, for example, you go to theme parks and you're like, I'll walk around, but I'm not getting on the rides because they freak me out, right? What therapists would tell you, go out and do that. Do it over and over and over again, right? With the process, the mind thought being like, the more you do it, right, the more comfortable you're going to be with it, right? You learn to like understand like, oh, nothing's going to happen. I'm going to go on this ride and for a few seconds, I might feel a little nervous, but I'm not going to die. Nothing's going to happen like that, right? So when I heard that, I'm like, I've been a chronic overthinker my whole life. I overthink everything. I literally like, dude, do I go to the store? Do I wait till tomorrow? What do I do, right? And not every situation requires you to think so much. Like sometimes it's just like, live in the moment. Whatever it is that's happening right now, I'm gonna live in the moment. And whatever comes from this experience, right? But it's a way for you to like experience life to its fullest because you're not worried about everything. So I wanted to start a channel because like with all the women, you see women now, they become like foot models and that's a big thing now, right? How would it be if I just approach a random woman who I just met? I don't know you. We've never talked before. How would she feel to be in a moment like that to practice some exposure therapy? So the portion where I'm asking you, hey, can we see what you feel like? That's like the exposure therapy part. Can you be comfortable? Do you overthink it? Are you self-conscious like you just said?
Yeah.
Like, what's the worst that's going to happen in this situation? That's kind of what we try to do. So that's kind of what we're doing right now. Like, and the whole point of us doing that, I get different reactions from different women. Some women are completely open. It's like, yeah, sure, no worries. Like, I'm not worried about it. Some women will overthink it. And some women are like, no, I'm good. But the whole point of my channel is to show the different reactions I get, to like try to like come up with a better response and a better overall view of feet, because a lot of people feel uncomfortable about it. A lot of people are like, oh, it's kind of weird, it's this. But my whole channel is about trying to make it more positive with my interactions. What are your thoughts about that? Kind of like what I'm doing.
That one, I feel like you're doing really good. Yeah, but it's just like for some people, like like example me, I just feel like very self-conscious with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, because you said you felt self-conscious, but you also mentioned earlier, like, if somebody gave you a compliment, it'd make you feel good, right?
Yeah.
How can people give you a compliment if you don't open up? Because, like, on my channel, people will give you compliments, right? We don't judge. We don't do any of that. And maybe the self-consciousness is all in your head. You're just overthinking it, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like to get out of that? And maybe if, you know, somebody said you had nice feet, you'd be like, oh, you can embrace that and be like, oh, that's a good thing. Like, I feel good about that. Wouldn't you want to do that?
I would do it, but I feel like it's a process for me.
It's so let's do this. How about this? How about if we see 1 foot? To like, just see if you can like get out of that comfort zone. Because like maybe doing 2 is like something where it's like, oh, I'm feeling uncomfortable. Maybe 1. Let's just see.
Okay.
Okay, cool. All right. So I'm gonna do. First of all, what size shoe do you wear?
A 10 women.
Size 10. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And then if you want, just leave your sock on for now. You can take the shoe off.
Yeah.
And then just if you can put your foot here. Just kind of bend it down. Okay, size 10. Oh, kind of, you could turn it just a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. All right, so it looks like, correct me if I'm wrong. Does your toes go from big to small, like in alignment? Or is your second one?
Yeah, they're aligned together. And
Okay. I think that if I'm not mistaken, I think that's the Roman alignment. There's like different alignments for your feet.
Yeah, I think I read about that.
So it's like Egyptian, Grecian, and like that might be the Roman one if I'm not mistaken. All right, cool, nice. Okay, let me get you to put your foot straight like this. Oh, put it this way, right? Yeah, and then toes up. All right, cool. All right, you can take your sock off now. And let's see. So you said size 10 women. Yeah. Okay, and then put your foot down flat. All right, you have very nice feet. Yeah. They're very. You have great toe alignment, and it looks like your feet are like more on the little plump, right? And they're not too, but they look really nice. I don't see anything wrong there. So I think you should get out of your own head. Okay, you're overthinking it way too much. All right, let me have you put your foot out straight like this. Oh, like how you had it right here, and then toes up. All right, so let me ask you this. You have a nice arch too. I don't know. Has anybody ever told you that?
No, I know I have a flat arch.
No, flat? No, you have an arch there. Like this area right here is an arch. I don't know, like if you know that, but yeah, that's an arch. Your foot's not flat. Okay. If it was flat, you would see nothing right here. There would be no curve there. So absolutely. Okay. So let me ask you this. We were talking before at first. You said you felt a little uncomfortable. You felt like you were self-conscious. What are your thoughts now? How you feeling now?
A little less than
a little less.
Yeah.
Right, not only that, but you got a compliment. Did the compliment feel good?
Yeah.
There it is.
It still felt a little weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let me get into reflexology now. Leave your foot. We're going to do one more exercise, okay? During reflexology is all about the different pressure points you have in your hands and your feet, right? You heard of that before?
Yeah.
All right, so the different pressure points like connect to different parts of your body. So let's say, for example, through massage, through acupuncture, through acupressure, you can like alleviate stress and tension to various parts of your body. What are your thoughts about that? Like, have you experienced that before? You've ever gotten like a massage or done acupuncture or anything like that?
My thoughts, I want to do it.
Okay.
But I just don't have like the time.
Yeah. You're like, not right now. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not
I would rather just go home and just like take sleep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, it can be very beneficial for you because like sometimes we hold stress in different parts of our body. And so those areas of your hands and your feet are like areas that can target different spots of your body. Might be something to think about, man. Just like going, because I mean, you can go like, I just actually saw a place right by El Camino College. And I think that they said they charge, if I'm not mistaken, she said $40 for like 15 minutes, and then for an hour is like $60. But I mean, that's something like just going to do, like, because I think self-care is like a very important thing, right?
Yeah.
Being able to feel good, because if you don't feel good, how are you gonna like be able to do anything for anybody else or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So in terms of that, when we get into reflexology, we like to talk about sensitivity. How ticklish do you tend to be?
Out of like a level?
Yeah, levels. Let's say 1 out of 10.
With my feet, I would say 8.
Okay, so you get pedicures. Is that very ticklish for you?
A little bit.
Okay, I have a trick for you that could be helpful. Do you mind if we test it?
Okay.
I have a tool to use too. Let me get you to hold this for me 1 second. All right, cool. And then I just want you to tell me, well, where do you feel it at the most? And do you mind if we test both of you just to see like the sensitivity, the difference? Because usually one is more sensitive than the other. That's almost only one.
No.
Okay, cool. We'll try it on this one. Just tell me the area that you feel it in.
Okay.
All right, cool. All right, you ready? All right, here we go. All right, so I'm gonna start from bottom to top. You just tell me where. Do you kind of flex your foot up a little bit? All right, cool. Tell me where you feel it at and which area, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Where do you feel it at? Is it in a specific area? Like, you feel here at the top?
In the middle.
So it's like right in here?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the scale?
I would say 7.
It's a 7. Okay, here's what I want you to do. While I'm doing that, I want you to wiggle your toes. You tell me if you feel it more or less. Wiggle. All right. You feel it more or less?
Less.
Do you know why?
Because I'm moving
It's part of it. So think about it this way. Your mind, like, connects to every part of your body, right? So you telling your body to, like, move and do this is almost like a distraction, right? You don't focus so much on what's happening. You focus more on, like, moving your toes. Secondly, moving your toes, kind of like you said, it, like, moves the energy. So, like, if I'm doing it in one spot, it moves the energy somewhere else, so you don't feel it in that specific spot. So that's a trick for you. You get pedicures, they start doing like the little pumice stone thing, just wiggle your toes a little bit, it'll help you out. Cool. Let me get you to, we're gonna do some exercises with your feet. I just want you to test the dexterity and flexibility, okay? So here's what I want you to do first. Bend your toes, make a fist. Tell me if you feel pain or discomfort. Is that easy to do, hard to do?
A little hard.
A little hard. Do you feel any discomfort anywhere? Where do you feel it at?
Like here.
So in your toes in general, you feel discomfort? Okay. I got a trick for you that you could do at home to like help you out. Okay, next let me get you to spread your toes. Tell me if you feel pain or discomfort. Is that easy? Is that hard?
It's easy.
It's easier to do. Does it get a little stiff?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Lastly, wiggle your toes for about 10 seconds. Tell me if you feel pain, discomfort, cramping, anything happening. Does it feel uncomfortable or anything like that?
On this part,
so you still feel it right there. Okay, I got a trick for you. You can put your foot down. In terms of something that you can do at home, if you could take a golf ball or a tennis ball, right? What you do is you lay your foot across it and you just roll your foot across it. What it'll do is loosen up the different tendons, different muscle groups, all those things you have in your feet, because you probably don't do those movements a lot, I would imagine, right?
Yeah.
That'll help you out. So that's something that you could do at home, like in the morning when you wake up, just kind of like roll it across that. It'll help you out. Cool.
Okay.
Let's wrap up the interview. In terms of my approach, coming up to you, asking you to do the interview, did you feel my approach was good? Was it bad? How did you feel about it?
I feel comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
The way you approach wasn't like
aggressive or anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And wasn't like that. Not a surprise. Like I wouldn't say like surprising, but like you kind of like waited until I'm like close enough.
Yeah.
That you can ask.
Absolutely.
Now like, oh hey.
Yeah. Hey, over there. Yeah. Absolutely. In terms of the interview, right, from start to finish, could you see how everything was going in the line? Did it make sense? Did you learn anything new?
It did. Yeah.
Okay.
It did make sense. Yeah.
Right.
Every like topic that you're going is like it connects with each one. Yeah.
Appreciate that. And I think you learned some new things about yourself, right? Because you learned that first of all, you don't have bad feet, so you can stop overthinking it and being like, your feet are very nice. So like, I think that you should definitely be confident about them. And then also you learn you can get out of your comfort zone, because you were like, feeling like, but you were able to get out of that. So that's something you can take on in life and be like, I can move past this. Even if I feel uncomfortable, just let me see what's going to happen. So I think that was definitely positive. The last thing I always ask on my channel, something from like a mental health standpoint, maybe it's a life lesson you learned or some wise words that somebody has shared with you that you can share on my channel.
Oh, okay. I work at a clinic.
Ah.
It's for advanced diseases. So
Okay.
I would say cherish every moment you have, especially with older generations. Yeah, so yeah.
That's dope. Thank you so much. We definitely appreciate you stopping to do this interview with us, and we hope that you have a great one. Okay.
Thank you. You
All right.
too.